Well, we have such good talent in the company, and we need to make use of talent, right? It's very important that we should work as teams, and that means that collaboration is important. But I think what is as important as collaboration is leadership. You know, collaboration with our direction is just what would you call it? A herd of cattle just milling around. It needs to know where it's going. So I think those two things go hand in hand: leadership and collaboration. But just to emphasize, we have such good people. I mean, it's just amazing talent that we have in the company, and therefore it's very important that we should make sure that people can contribute. Maybe just if I could add something else, if you have talent and you don't draw on that talent and make people feel that they can actually contribute to making a difference, then you don't have motivated people, and motivation is as important as collaboration. One of the things that we've worked on quite recently is the response to the Barclays RFP, where if you think about it, Barclays got head office in London. It's one of its biggest assets is Absa Bank in South Africa, based headquartered in Johannesburg. But Barclays has got properties right through South Sahara Africa, MENA. There's lots of activity of Barclays in Egypt, and we had to respond to an RFP that covers all of these properties. Which meant that it was collaboration of the Johannesburg team, the Nairobi office, the guys out of Dubai, and even Visa Europe. And I think you can talk to the team that presented, what was it, about a fortnight ago in Johannesburg. We were a great team, and it started with the preparation, putting everything together, and ultimately presenting to the customer as well. That's just one example.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Innovation, in my mind, needs also to be balanced, right? It needs to be balanced with fundamentals. If you innovate outside of the structures of what's important to the organization, then you do create chaos. I do think that we do extremely well with innovation. We have such a lot of ideas. Sometimes too much in a way, right? It's important to be able to apply those ideas, to be focused, and to solve the problems that the company face. Well, I think it's not just Visa; it's life, right? If you don't do something that you believe in, if you're not governed by something that sits in your heart, then somewhere along the line things will just come unstuck. You have to do what you believe in. It doesn't matter if it's work, if it's play, if it's what you do in your family life, or whatever the case may be. If it's not governed by what you believe in, at least that's what I believe, right? Then things will come unstuck big time. And that's what I love about Visa, is that there's real values, things that you can believe in and that you can relate to, and that can govern what you do in your work.
All right, so if you look at all these 23 countries which I talk about, the way we coordinate things in terms of supporting the clients, I think there is a lot of collaboration, got a lot of support from the products team, a lot of support from the marketing team. We have the risk team, we have the government folks, we have the acceptance team, and we all work together in terms of achieving whatever goals we have. So there is a lot of collaboration, yes, I say, and we definitely support that. In Africa, we have quite a lot going on. The Rwanda project is one of them, although there's a direct team based in Rwanda, but I think that is one area where we have shown a lot of collaboration in terms of what's happening. Currently, we are rolling out some market activation or awareness campaigns, which is coordinated by the marketing team and the products team and the risk team. So that's one fantastic example of how the team is collaborating in Africa. So integrity is one of the values we definitely embrace, and I think from every staff member in my office, they we do really emphasize on that, and they understand the importance of that. And I think recently we also had compliance training, which we also emphasized on that. So it's something which is really at the top of the mind of everybody. And in our business, we can't afford not to. You see what I mean? There's a lot of it attached to the brand. So you have to protect the brand, and you have to take in mind that whatever you're doing, you are representing the Visa brand. So it's very, very important, yes. Yeah.
Olga Zapryadkina from Brand Marketing Moscow.
Elena Samonova from Brand Marketing Moscow.
Irina Dubrovska, the same team from Moscow.
We are definitely one team.
Do you want to step in?
Elena is with us.
Елена Руденькая, Brand Marketing Moscow.
Got it. How's everybody?
So about the collaboration, I think it's very important for us. This year, especially Russian team, tried a lot to work on it together because we have different departments and we really have different cross-functional projects, and we just need to be aligned. You know, marketing, product team, acceptance team, and BD team. Because when we are working all together, when we are at the same background, it's much more effective to get with clients, to get much more effective results. Like one team, like everybody has its own part of job, and when we are getting all together, the result is much more effective.
Right.
So it's very important.
So give me
Maybe starting of acceptance of Visa cards in Auchan. Auchan is an international chain. It was very popular in Russia. It's already 10 years in Russia. And last year it began to accept cards for the first time ever in Russia. And Visa was the only card accepted. Can you imagine? No other card is not. And it was the work of the team of different departments. Marketing, innovation, products, acceptance, all together, even legal department and corporate communication. Everybody just gathered together, collaborated, worked on it very hard, and it was great.
excellent.
Yeah, and in Visa, I feel there's strong collaboration between different regions, which help each other and provide a lot of information and maybe sometimes learning which they already got from other markets. And this is something which we call dynamic capabilities, which we can apply to drive our success.
Right.
Each person in our company is unique, but all together we build that unique possibilities which help us to achieve the leadership in the market.
Yeah, that's great. All right, thank you so much for coming by. Just one more time, could you repeat your name and your role here?
My name is Elena Rudenkaya, and working in brand marketing in Russia, and responsible for innovation projects and for premium category.
All right.
Good.
Erica.
Hi, Richard.
Hi, pleasure to meet you.
It's a lawyer in the office in Sydney. I mean, from a business cultural point of view, I know that the teams that I manage are really dedicated to doing their work innovatively. We like to push the envelope into interesting new areas. For example, in corporate relations in Australia, we've done a whole lot of new thought leadership, both around innovation itself, but into whole different topics that Visa might not have been involved in the past. And the reason why we're doing that is we're really trying to position the company in Australia as an innovator, as an innovative workshop, as a place that you'd want to come and work. Oh, absolutely. Again, it comes back to the culture of the organisation. I remember the first day I walked into the Visa office, had a great feeling, a diverse group of people from different ages, genders, ethnic backgrounds. It was just the right mix, and I think we take the cue from the top, and so it's very open leadership, and I think people go with that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, certainly in the areas that I look after, which is what I can probably comment on best, which is government and corporate relations, we really try and come back to what would our clients be thinking about what we're doing right now. Is what we're doing going to add value, not just to Visa, but to our clients' proposition of working with Visa as well? And so in government relations, for example, that means working with government relations teams in our clients more and more and more, not just working over here on our issues in isolation, working with them. Same thing with corporate relations. If we're doing financial literacy or financial inclusion. What would our clients think about this? Could we do this with our client? Would this add value to our client? So absolutely, we keep it right at the front. I talk to my team all the time about our ethics as well. So that's, for me, a form of integrity. If our ethical standards aren't at their highest, then look, we really may as well not show up and do what we're doing, especially when we're talking about interfacing with regulators, with governments, with public policy. We have to be at the top of our game, and we have to be ethical all the time. The moment that we're not, and I haven't seen any examples of us not being, but the moment that we're not, we immediately open ourselves up to all of the things, all of the imposts, the regulation, and the involvement that we ideally would rather not have put on our business, so we can go about doing what we do best.
My name is Tatiana Oliynik, and I'm Business Development Manager from Ukraine. You cannot work, it's your job to build these relations with clients, with your colleagues, maybe from third parties, from your providers. It was not very easy to become a Visa employee, so I was going to this maybe for 8 years. So it was my dream from the very beginning. When I began to work in a bank, I always wanted to work in cards, and when I found out that there is Visa in Ukraine, I want to be part of this team. And
I think collaboration is important, and I see it every day. And I see it in how helpful and how willing to help generally Visa employees are. My mentors, the people sitting around me. So if anytime I need some help, I can just go up to them without fear of them being too busy. They always make time. And I think that sets the foundation for a good collaborative environment.
Right, that's great.
It helps to have a purpose in your work and to find meaning in your work. And I think a lot of people in Visa have that, and you can see it in their faces when they come to work every day.
Yeah.
For me, what really works for me with the people here is that they take their work very seriously, but thankfully they don't take themselves too seriously.
Okay.
Yeah. Whenever we have our team catch-ups, everyone gives their input and thinks of ways to make it better together.
The people I'm working with are great. There's a nurturing culture in Visa, so everyone's very patient because even though we are so young, so it's okay if you ask them a question, they are ready to just reply and to show us the ropes, basically.
That's great.
So it's a great organization.
Yeah, that's great. So.
For me, driving excellent results is getting personally involved in the work that you do, above and beyond just going through a process. Continually, we try and look at the process we are doing, try to question the moves that we are making and see if it makes sense based on what the ideal is, and then we innovate along the way. So that to me represents excellence. Yeah. I think because I'm really new to the role, my boss wants me to have a fresh pair of lenses to look at what we're doing, and that's exactly what I'm hoping to bring to the table by looking at the processes that we are doing and trying to look at what makes sense and what we can improve on or we can drop, and to streamline the whole process.
Yeah.
Right. I think it comes right down from the top, right? The Ideals Festival that we just had is just one example of the innovation. We have thousands of ideas that the participation level out of 7,000 employees is just it's crazy.
Yeah.
For us, it's about ensuring that the things that we do, more than above and beyond just delivering the results that we hope to achieve, is about going through it the proper way. Like when a merchant gives us particular figures, we want to question it. We want to make sure that it's the correct thing is being reported to us, and that to me is about integrity. Not just trying to get the numbers you want, but to question it and to make sure it's accurate.
Yeah, it's accurate. We're doing every day.
Of course. Well, first of all, customer service is always number one, and in our markets in APCMEA, it's very different from the U.S., where we have to deal with many different countries and their regulators, and the growth of the market is different. So for every country, we almost have to tailor our approach and always looking at new ways of doing business, especially for the frontier markets. We need to stay top of our game and also understanding how we can leverage what we already established, but also adapt that to the new changes. I definitely don't think integrity is ever an issue with people at Visa. Every all of my business partners, they understand who they're working for, and they understand we have certain standards we have to meet. And usually I find it quite easy when I tell them what the rules are and what their options are and how they can change rules. They usually will just follow. I think very highly of people at Visa. I have heard multiple times from different people that our business is all about the people. I think that's definitely a value that we all share.
I'm Pia Arellano, also business development with the Philippines.
Okay, excellent. So
I want my client to look at me not just as a vendor, but really as a partner and as a member of their team. So that's something that I strive to do. I do my homework with regards to their business and try to really assess not just what they need, but what they want. And present it to them, so much so that they really look at you as an integral part of their team.
yeah, no, that's great.
When it comes to excellence, I think you just have to walk the talk. You just have to just strive to be a good model really for the rest of the team so that everyone's inspired to really take the game up and to be the best you can be for your client. To work as a cohesive team, it's all about mutual respect. It's not always about consenting and agreeing, it's agreeing to disagree, and challenging each other, and at the end of the day, arriving at a common ground to be able to achieve, objectives for your client.
Right, absolutely. Okay.
Well, most of what we deal with is data compromise events. So when a client or a merchant or somebody connecting to one of our acquirers has had data stolen from their network or what have you, we have to coordinate between the country risk team, the BDMs, forensic companies who do the investigation, the acquirer, the merchant, and all of these people, and we have to collaborate to bring it all to a solution that is beneficial to everybody. So collaboration is very central to what we do.
Right.
If we don't have the trust that fixing these network intrusion problems and data compromises brings, then we don't have the product to sell to the clients on either side of the business. So, overselling, for example, or overcommitting to things that you're not capable of doing is always a bad idea. Treating people the way you want to be treated, acting with integrity in that regard is always the way you need to do business, because if you don't, you very quickly find out that your clients will be happy to go to somebody else who does show integrity. Now,
that we have a highly collaborative culture, and that's not just warm and fuzzy when we say collaborative. It's an environment where people are working towards the collective good. There is a part of the DNA that says collective success leads to individual success and not the other way around. And so people are looking to help other people succeed because it is in that collective success that our future lies. And then as individuals, we don't leave our values out at the door when we check in the morning. That's who we are. And so to the extent that the values of an individual and the values of a company are compatible, then you get the magic. I'd like to make a confession here. I am paranoid about not delivering value to our customers. And that paranoia helps. And the way it works, I think, is that it permeates the organization. Yes, there's a number of people in Middle East and North Africa, but in the bigger scheme of things, we're a very small company. I try to inspire people to perform at a level where any failure against a client is a significant failure. So I'd like to believe that we have a combined collective culture that says we aren't just trying to be good, we aren't just trying to be better than the next guy, but we want to excel with our clients in a way that when we lose a deal, it causes us to have a meeting to wonder what happened. We don't celebrate our successes that much because we've sort of gotten used to that. Now that's not a good thing, we should celebrate our successes some more. But there's a paranoia that says any failure to win a deal, any failure must have a very good answer, and the answer should not be that we did not deliver.
No, I think the people in Visa are very friendly and open. Basically the culture is very open to questions and things like that. So because I'm new, and I'm actually a very fresh person. I mean, I'm an undergrad. So being at Visa actually allows me to ask a lot of questions that I'm sure I'm uncertain of and things like that. Yeah. I guess it's always thinking out of the box on how to be better than what was previously done, how to improve on things, constantly keep thinking, constantly keep asking questions to our supervisors and things like that. Yeah, find out what people want and how we can improve on things, especially when it comes to things like surveys. Yeah, I think that's pretty important. So basically we had this employee event, which was Bring Your Kids to Work Day. That was actually held before I came into Visa. So what they did was that employees were allowed to bring their children for a day at work just to see what it was like for their parents at work. And when I came in, it was the closure of the event and the wrap-up. And what they did was that they sent out this survey to the employees to ask them, you know, how was the event held? How was it conducted? I mean, what were things that could be improved on? And so these points were actually consolidated and used for several events that happened after that increased employee engagement, which was pretty helpful because I guess it gave a perspective on what the people who were experiencing the event wanted, and it allowed us to improve on our our future employee events. Yeah, and I do feel that the people at Visa are very trustworthy and they hold a lot of confidential information. I mean, not just for HR, but for our departments as well. So I do see them take more effort in being more detailed in their work and things like that.
Well, I think fundamentally it's the passion. I mean, I think when you look at Visa personnel, Visa staff, everybody is driven, yes, for success, but it's the inbred passion that makes Visa a different place. So there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of dynamism, but like every successful company, you know, this one's particularly passion driven. Well, I think as corporate relations, I mean, trust and integrity is you know, basic behind everything that we do. Honesty, integrity, and living up to what you promise is just a daily part of the job. I think that on a day-to-day basis, clients are incredibly important for everything that we do, and whether or not that means clear briefing documents or clear presentation materials or simplifying a narrative so that the benefits and the value that we present to clients is provided to our business development managers, and that they can then go in and speak not only comfortably about what they're trying to sell, but then highlight the examples and the case studies and all the evidence that they will need to show that it's not just one client, one bank, that Visa is succeeding across a range of banks and a range of clients. Okay, so collaboration is obviously a basic part of our job in corporate relations, and I think probably the best example is currently that we're running a debit campaign across Indonesia. So we're looking at not only consumer debit, but highlighting and influencing and educating the government and as well as the banks and things. So not only are we talking with the debit team, but we've already got government relations on board as well. So between all three of us, we're starting to put a picture down where this is about the value that Visa adds, and we're using the debit team, the e-commerce team, the government relations team to drive that message.
Yeah, awesome. One of our functions is to help with the events, and the events is a collaboration between a lot of different groups. It's a collaboration of the product groups, the marketing groups, the sales groups, and it takes all of those people together working collaboratively in order to pull off an event like that. I think that, you know, being a market leader makes us proud, you know, of the brand that we represent and the company. Yeah. You have to get up every morning when you come to work, and you have to reevaluate what you're doing and make sure you're doing the right thing, and that's being focused on the clients. So sometimes you get down a path and you get off track. You need to keep coming back to that track and say, okay, what I'm going to do today, you know, how is it going to affect our clients and our business?
My business is clients, right? So I run a small team of consultants, and our job is essentially to target key clients around the APCMEA region and spend significant amounts of time growing their debit business. Okay, well, one of the things we've had to do is develop an entirely new engagement model. So if you think about the way we do business at Visa, we work on short-term engagements. We hold hands with a client for a short period of time, we deliver best practices, and then we kind of let them go and get on with it. we've had to develop a whole new system for going into a client organization and doing all the data gathering and due diligence that's going to help us understand how we can best help them in a very short period of time. So one of the things that my team and I work obsessively around is how can we be better at really understanding not just where they think they want to go with debit, but actually where we believe we can add significant value to accelerate their growth. Because my reason for being is accelerating Visa volume and client revenue. There is a reason why we are where we are today, right? And that reason has been in making sure that we deliver the best set of products for the clients we have. And that means understanding their requirements. It means understanding their customers' requirements, because we are a B2B business. And pulling together the right products to make that happen, and at the same time fostering those relationships. So I think for us, excellence needs to be a culture, it needs to be part of our DNA, it needs to be a fundamental pillar of what we need to do as a company.
Just the nature of what Visa is as a company, the global company, you can't escape from collaborating. You know, we don't work in silos. We have to work as teams. So just from the perspective of working in the Kenya office, working in the as a functional team in marketing, working with the other functions, whether it's through product, whether it's acceptance, working with sales to understand what's going on with the business, and even beyond that, working with the clients to understand their business so we can be able to serve them better. So we have to. I don't even have a choice. I have to collaborate and work with the different teams. I collaborate all the time. And it's whether it's a function of the requirement of the company as a value, but just even how we are brought up in Africa, we have to work as teams. So I kind of emphasize the importance of collaboration. It's important, especially when we're doing our planning and working with our sales teams, understanding the business. We can't understand it ourselves because it's through the clients and it's through them serving the customers that we need to understand. So it's a function of, working through the sales team and getting the contacts to the clients. But once we're there, then it's building relationships with the clients in the marketing teams, understanding their needs from their perspective.
The integrity is fundamental, basically plays everywhere in our life, outside the office, inside the office. So it's very, very important to be committed and follow the rules in a way. So when you do, especially in my job, and we do projects all the time, process improvement is fundamental to say what's good and what's not good, to be really true to our stakeholders. There are no shortcuts to achieve amazing results. It's a lot of hard work and play fair with everybody. And the way I play is, if it's good, I say it's good. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. What is very important to understand what's in it for them, what moves them, their economics, their values. Sometimes I realize we forget. We are very, if you like, product focused instead of being customer focused, and we need to really move in that direction. So when I saw customer centric out there, I said, yes, that's the right way. We need to understand what is the value for them and deliver. I'm actually a Six Sigma Master Black Belt, so that's what we do. For us, our customers are the center of our universe, and we need to fulfill their needs. And only, actually, better than that, we need to delight them. So it's not enough just to reach parity, we need to exceed. We're looking at for example, contract management end-to-end. So yeah, we have improved one piece of the process, but what are the customers really seeing? Are they seeing that improvement, or they are still not seeing that? And that's why we are now expanding our view and say, okay, instead of just looking at the way we do contracts, let's see what they see, from the time there is the first touch point to the very last time when they sign. Are we really there? And we are not today. So we will be working on different segments of the process to really take the customer-centric view.
Yeah, that's great.
So something that I used to say in my past life is innovation is not about breaking glass. It can be just making your everyday life simpler, easier, and innovation can be in little things as well. It's not about revolution, it's about evolving. So even what we do today, simple things like making the contract easier, making for example, purchase requisition process easier for our salespeople, it's a bit of innovation. Yeah. Of course, we love to break glass and do those glorious things, but even small things matter, and it's a little way of innovating every day continuously.
Thinking about clients is a key aspect of everything, because one of our key pillars is actually deepening the engagement with clients. So we have to be as collaborative as possible. And that's possibly one of the values that we would actually love to just embrace. Because if we don't have that, then you can't build that relationship that requires us to have that growth that's required for Visa. So there's a lot of focus on actually trying to, be in touch, be one, and to understand what this client needs are in order to actually give them what they require, which is a perfect solution for them to grow their business. Absolutely. I believe in innovation, and it's an important aspect of building that co-brand product, because if you build that perfect relationship with that co-brand, for the bank and for whoever the partner is. For example, we're working on airlines. Then you can build that sort of relationship by showing that you are innovative. For example, the project we worked on for Ethiopian Airlines, we had to pick people from South Africa, people from Dubai, and that collaboration was very necessary. It was unfortunate that we didn't know these things existed before, but it was good that when the need came about, that collaboration did take place, and we're able to just all be in sync and deliver what was required to the client, which was a fantastic presentation, showing them exactly how they can make money and exactly how they can grow in the next 5 years or so.
Well, the world over, we work in markets where there are moral ambiguities of doing business, and therefore integrity becomes a key part of what we do. There's nothing worse than not having integrity, credibility, of being seen to be corrupt, of being seen to be not honest and loyal to the brand and honest with your customers. I think people will do business more with someone who is loyal than someone who is looking for shortcuts, and so that is key. I mean, it leads to there's a risk at brand reputation because of doing things not the right way. So it's important that people I work with, people that are my supervisors, people that I supervise, all understand that we are loyal to the brand, but more importantly, that we do business in an ethical manner. Most of what goes wrong with businesses across the globe is because people are looking for shortcuts. People are looking for ways to do things in a way that is not ethical. And for a company like Visa, you cannot afford to risk the enterprise through practices that are unethical. Absolutely. Is our technology the type of technology that is going around looking for a problem, or is it a technology that is responding to providing a solution to a problem? And so those things are very, very important to me as I go around. But obviously, I know that key, in their work is the other clients, the client banks and so on. So what I try and do in my engagement with governments is to ensure that the interests of our clients are represented. When I talk to government, I just don't talk to government about visa issues, but I also include others, the interests of others in the business. Because after all, I cannot do business directly with government without the clients. I do business with government through those clients, and so it's important that it's a win-win situation. If I look good in the books of the government and the clients don't look good, I don't think it's a winning solution.
Okay, this is the recent project that we launched. It's actually a collaboration between Japan Visa team, and then Manila office, wherein we launched this international cash project in Guam. All right, and we know that in Guam, 70 to 80% of the tourists there are from Japan or Japanese people. So I collaborated with my contact in Visa Japan, and then we came up with a project for international cash by 1, we implemented an ATM dress up. 2, we also have implemented this international language enabled. So every time where you can see the ATM dress up with Visa, you can use, or there are languages enabled there, like Korean, Japanese of course, Korean, Chinese. So it would enable our card members from Japan, China, and Korea to be able to use the ATMs at their convenience, using the languages, the local languages. Mm-hmm. Actually, I can enumerate a lot of things, but if there's one thing that is key for keeping the relationship with, say, for example, Bank of Guam. It's really, the first one is the brand, okay, because they really see the brand as an authority. They see the brand as our brand, of the expert of the payment scheme. So that alone is a springboard for trust and confidence for the brand. So every time that they think of launching a debit card or a prepaid card or a credit card, first thing come to mind is Visa.
Okay, we have some amazing people in our office, people from different banks, different industries, and all of us in India work as a team towards a common objective of growing transactions, getting more cards in the market, maintaining our market share, increasing our market share. And people come with different experiences, different skill sets, and it really helps us in collaborating as a team to get there, to get to the final objective. Really, it's great. I mean, I look forward to going to office on Mondays. We work with a variety of stakeholders in the industry. So it's not only about merchants, but we work with device vendors, we work with acquirers, we work with processors. So it's not just about merchants. So, and the final objective is to bring value to all of them, and that's the core objective of acceptance team. In addition to that, we also work with our colleagues on the BD side, our colleagues on the debit side, on emerging product sides, to really help them and collaborate with them in their business. Very recently, we won back the ATM business from National Payments, and there was a group of people, working on that project, including the BD team, myself from acceptance, the risk team, all of us, our debit team, all of us collaborated on that project. We made sure that we get back that volume, and we're still, moving towards getting more and more transactions on that business.
Clearly, we are at the cutting edge of what payment should be doing for large sections of the global population. Traditionally, our products have always just catered to a certain segment of populations or market segments, which is generally affluent and probably have a bank account, who have access to electronic money, so to say. They get salaries in electronic format, and they get a card linked to their account, and then they use it. But I think in a much larger population of consumers in the market, in many markets, just don't have access to any of electronic products. So I think one of the first challenges is to get them into that fold. And that to me is excellence in a certain way, that we are at the forefront of getting that segment into, and giving them something which, really makes a difference in their lives. For excellence to me is in some way the same word as perfection. So I think we in all that we do, we really strive for perfection. We want to have 99.99 kind of digits. We love those kind of digits, so that's great. And the fact that we want to really make a difference in people's lives, even in the other segments that we serve, is also, I think, is an important value for Visa. Integrity is that critical to us that it has to be second nature in terms of our the values that we hold dear to ourselves. Because without integrity, we just it's one of the bedrocks and the foundations of our entire business. One of the great things about working in Visa is really the people, the kind of people you meet. I've had experiences in other organizations. I haven't come across such a wonderful, smart set of people as in Visa. We do address issues very openly, and then we try to solve for them. The fact that we find solutions, and that that speaks for the kind of people, that quality of people that we're working with. So the other important thing is the fact that in Visa, everyone realizes that they bring a set of competencies on the table. So everyone, and there's a general realization that everyone can't do everything. So the fact that there are some people who are, who understand technology better, there are others who understand laws and regulations better, there are others who are good salespeople, and the fact that we can then, pool all these important competencies to create a very powerful team.
So my day-to-day job is to support the client with sales and business development, right? So yes, collaboration is important, and that is something that for us, the way like our market share in Vietnam is actually higher than our competitor. But when I come and talk to the clients, and the reason behind that is, they were saying that okay, we are like the better is just the people behind the brand, the support we provide them day to day. Like at least in my case, to my clients, that so we always like make sure we address that concern, we answer them, we speed up the process, and we give them what they're looking for, either yes or no, but in a responsive manner, and even the attitude that we deal with them. Like so, we are not arrogant. So they see us as we are very down to earth, that we be their friends, their partners, not somebody come in and tell them what to do or we better than the other guy, right? So when I work with a few projects recently, that I have 2 big projects that are cross-border with HSBC and ANZ, and that is a team. They discuss with us, they share with us, and I work with the regional team, asking them for case studies in different markets, and with the credit and debit guys on best practices, and share that with the clients. So they come back with like, this is my plan. What do you think, right? So and then they think that when we look at that, and they said, wow, this is even much better than what we planned to tell them.
I think one thing Visa really does well is, I think Visa is very strong on the relationship side. They really prove their value when it comes to being right next to the client in making business decisions. That's very important. Visa has a very, very strong sense of integrity, more so than the other card schemes. So if Visa promises something, they usually do deliver. At the end of the day, Visa is a custodian of transactions from multiple banks, and integrity both on the processing side and client relationship side and the product side and the risk side becomes very, very important. The moment we lose that one bit of, one small word, integrity, it could be a death knell for an organization like Visa.
I think the first step is to really question how we're doing things against these stated goals, rather than just because we've done it that way in the past. And the big part of what we're going to talk about in Timeout is less about how we can sell to clients and more about how we can create a sense of shared value with clients, so that our paths are the same, and that we're looking less about short-term sales objectives and more about long-term revenue drivers and growth for both our businesses and theirs. If we talk about creating shared value with clients and with regulators, how do we, it's not just the role of one department, government relations, sales, business, or whatever it is, it's the role of all of us to find those solutions. So it starts with understanding what the long-term objective is for our business and for the client or the regulator. Well, I think the fact that they work for an organization like Visa suggests that those are people who are committed to excellence on a daily basis. I think Visa as a brand stands for quality, for excellence in everything we do.
Well, one of my first experiences here was around the Visa Payments Forum, and that's when we invite all of our clients throughout APCMEA to Singapore, so they can get an update on how Visa's business is going. And the registration process for that was it was very manual, and it was very time consuming, and lots of wasted effort tracking people down and trying to get information from them. And learning from that experience, last year we're putting in some things this year behind the scenes that the average BDM is not going to see, but they'll notice that they'll get less emails from us asking them for information, and things will just happen. I have always been and continue to be impressed by the caliber of person that I've run into in Visa. I mean, I've only been here for 7 months, and everybody here is passionate about their job. There's definitely a buzz around the office. I mean, I think we realize that these are very exciting times for Visa. You can see how the value system in this company is very strong. I mean, and you can see it in the decisions people make. I mean, values at the end of the day are what guide your decisions. And if you have good values and if you have strong values, then more than a policy on what's legally approved or not, the values supersede that.
Well, I think it's really important that we are continually externally focused, that we have to get out of our comfort zone, we have to get out of our offices, and we have to listen. We have to listen to our counterparts, we have to listen to what the marketplace is saying, and very specifically, we have to sit down with our clients and listen to what our clients are saying to us. It's not about technology. It's about new business models, it's about new processes, and it's about solving for the end user. And that end user can be internal stakeholders, it can be our clients, it can be customers, and it can be just anyone in the value chain. And I think it's really important, having that end vision, you have to also have shared objectives, shared accountability, shared responsibilities, and accountabilities such that, you know, we're all moving in the same direction. Yeah. I think Visa has always been great when we have been under pressure, whether it's competitive pressure or other external factors. We've really come together, and whether it was a reaction to regulation or litigation or some catastrophic event in the marketplace, we've really all pulled together to say we need to solve this problem collectively. One of the things that attracted me to Visa and has kept me at Visa a really long time is the fact that I'm surrounded by very smart, very committed, very passionate people. And I don't need to know everything about the payment system in order to get my job done really well, because I know that I have a colleague in another office, down the hall, across the world, who knows this subject cold. So that's a really empowering work environment to be in. We've been talking a lot about business integrity and how we do our jobs and so forth, and part of it is about the personal integrity that we bring to the workplace. And one of the things that I've been working on is our diversity and inclusion initiatives, and the organization has been very supportive of those efforts to create a safe environment for the diversity of thought and the diversity of cultures and backgrounds and so forth. And so I think one of the corporate values that I value tremendously is the ability to bring, each and every one of us, the ability to bring 100% of ourselves to the workplace every day. And I think if we can stay true to that, if we can be ourselves and have that open and honest and healthy dialogue day in and day out, that we'll all be better for it.
Well, our brand is a huge thing, and I think integrity kind of protects that brand and the trust that's enabled in it. I've been recently focused in Myanmar, a very new market. You know, Visa is a new company for a lot of people. A lot of people don't even understand what Visa is, but for the people who know it, our brand, trust, integrity, follows with that. We're under strict guidelines by OFAC's SDN list. We can only work with certain people. We can only work with certain banks, and we're very rigid about that, maintaining a level of integrity. So that's one area where we're probably not flexible.
So I would say collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. We heard a lot of that today during the sessions, where we really need to work as a team. So it's not the job of the innovations to innovate. It's all of our job to innovate. Innovation is just in our everyday life. And what it means to me is thinking a little bit outside of the box, maybe taking a different angle at the same solution that we've done over and over again. If we want to up the game, if we want to go a little bit higher, we probably don't want to do exactly the same thing. We probably want to throw a little bonus on top of that. Exactly. We do bring people already with existing skill set, with experience. What we started doing, I've seen at Visa, is actually encouraging people to get cross-functional experience, which I really think is great for the talent development. What I'm looking forward for, actually, it is a cross-functional experience for me, personally, because I do have a sales background, I have general management background, I have business development background, I do not have any marketing background, so that will be a new trick for me to learn.
Because as we're becoming bigger in size, we almost have 100 people now in Australia, and it is a true cross-functional team. We have our traditional functions as well as some of the emerging functions such as CyberSource, VPS, V.me team. So we now have almost 10 or 12 different teams working in Australian office. However, as far as I'm concerned, there's only one team. If you're in Australia, you're working on an Australian project, there's only one team. and that's just Team Visa Australia, right? And so we said that we need to start by setting some common objectives and shared objectives. If there's any overlap of a certain activity in our market, then there needs to be a joint ownership of that across all those functions where the overlap is. So, for example, if CyberSource needed to sign, let's say, a dozen top merchants for their processing, online processing gateway, then we say, well, there is an overlap in the acceptance team because acceptance folks already have a good relationship with the merchant. There is a slight overlap with our sales team because they have a relationship with the acquirers, and CyberSource are the subject matter experts. So let's make sure that we have in all three teams' objectives that we must sign a dozen merchants and 2 acquirers in Australia. And they carried the common goal. Surprise, surprise, everyone was pulling towards their goal. And in the end, we came up with, after 1 year, 46 merchants have been signed and 2 largest acquirers have been signed for CyberSource. Our people are our biggest asset. If we don't develop them to take responsibility and be more accountable for what they do, then it's really our fault, frankly. We can't blame our people. And that's the second thing that I really promote quite heavily in my market, is that I encourage people to take more ownership and make decisions. We've got a great brand, we've got great people working for us. We have a market lead, we've got great strategies, we have the ability to execute well. We just need to believe in all of that. And I think that belief needs to be realistic, that we can achieve big goals, but we need to set ourselves some high targets as well, some stretch goals as well. Okay, so we took some feedback from our clients, I think about 2 years ago, and our clients, one of the questions we used to ask in those days as part of our client survey is, do you see us leading the way in terms of dealing with regulators and government with the positive engagement model? And our clients didn't see that. Now, we thought we were doing a good job. Our clients didn't see that. So we set ourselves a goal that we need to make sure that we do a better job with our government engagement and regulatory engagement sort of model. But 2, we need to make sure we involve our clients into that equation to make sure they understand, not only they understand what we're doing, but we work together, because we will be more successful if we all work together. So over the last 12 to 18 months, we have particularly put a lot of focus in engaging our clients in political briefing. We do lots of boardroom luncheons with the regulators and politicians from both sides of the politics to make sure, and we invite our clients to come and join those conversations.
With our intern program, so it's linked to our graduate program, for the first time we got them to come up with a business concept, product features, marketing concept, distribution, and it was an experiment. And when we saw it live and they presented in front of us, we almost fell off our chairs. It was good enough to present to the client. So we invited our client, they were willing to listen to the interns, and they were floored, because the work they did was even better than some of the ad agencies that they had hired to do the job. So that was one. I think we're going to win the bid because of the interns. That's innovation. I don't think any companies out there do that. It's a business program, so we work with people from all over the organization, and these are all volunteers. We've got acceptance, we've got risk, we've got product, we've got marketing, CSS. We've got different people giving us ideas, and working together as a team to come up with, the vision is we want this to be the best possible program in 5 years. We want every campus, every student to say, I want to join Visa.
Actually, the technique I use anyways, myself, is quite simple. It's always switching your mindset. Right? Put yourself in the customer's shoes. Think of it from their point of view. So when I talk to a client, I'm actually pretending that I'm a member of their organization. So it's only when I get to the point where I think I have a solution. I understand his problems, and I have I'm ready to propose a solution to him. Do I start to put on my Visa hat? I think that is a measurement of or reflection of engagement, right, or commitment to the company. I think those who do very well are the ones that get up in the morning and feel like they have a mission. So they say, can I cut my breakfast short because I'm in a hurry to go because I have a mission to accomplish. It is that, if you are clear about your mission, and usually for sales, that mission is customer needs first, and then Visa second, and the two should be aligned. If you have that mission, it will keep you wake up in the morning very anxious to go to work.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess Visa is special to different people for different reasons, right? But I think the only common link might be they feel clear about what their role is in Visa and the importance of that. Now, not everybody's role is related directly to a client, but for client-facing frontline team, such as myself, right? So what keeps us really excited is that we always know what missions we're working on. When we think of innovation, we shouldn't think of absolutely brand new product, brand new service. Innovation could be something as simple as a slightly different way of doing things. So if you take a look at Timeout 2012 APCMIA, just by insertion of 4 phases of the geography video and getting people to get up, that is innovation in and of itself. Now, as it relates to your daily job, I think one way to get yourself into innovation mood is to do things in different sequence. So, for example, if normally the first thing you do when you come into the office is to get a cup of coffee and read your email, it becomes a set routine. So you ought to switch that and say, how about the first thing I do in the morning is not to drink coffee or read email, but to call a customer. When you switch your routine, certainly you're outside of your natural comfort routine. Then you start to see things differently. Say, is there a slightly different way to do things? Right? So so change of routine is one way to look at how you might do things differently. And doing things differently for the better is innovation.
Well, for processing, I guess with the value of integrity, I think as individuals who are trying to promote the value of processing, as well as just what it means and how it relates to the brand when you think about Visa and the integrity of our processing system that supports domestic payment systems and the global payment systems, I think that integrity is a good one. It's a good example of what we need to do to live better and how we do our jobs, but it's one that is bigger than all of us because it represents the integrity of the processing structure, of the processing business, and why it's so important to supporting all of our core products and now even more so the emerging products.
Right.
Well, I think 2 examples come to my mind. One is, I think, a story that is I like to tell, which is when you think about some of the buzzwords today, cloud computing and big data. I mean, the great thing about what Visa accomplished as an innovative company many, many years ago is we could, in many ways, claim to be the original cloud computing system, which is a great story, and I think it's that mindset of innovation that we talk a lot about today, but it's really inbred in our culture. I think we're all interested in trying to make it more so and try to find a way to highlight it maybe more than we have. But it has always been there, and I think VisaNet, the cloud computing, is perhaps one of the best examples of that. And I think today what we continue to do is when we make acquisitions or when we think about products, we're constantly thinking about how to do that through this network effect. And I think that's what makes the innovation engine really run. I am here because of collaboration. We're obviously a global function and a global team participating in this meeting, but I really have the privilege of all of my team members being actually in the markets. And even more so the privilege of the fact that almost every one of them I've either personally hired or they've personally come to the team by recommendation of the client teams, the country managers, the key peoples in product, and other parts of the organization. So what we do in terms of working with the country teams started from the beginning of them wanting us to be there. So we had a kind of an advantage, and now what we're really doing is trying to drive that spirit of collaboration to really a higher level of execution and focus on some of the things that you heard Elizabeth talk about. So that's the easiest for me, and I feel not only that it's important for how we do our job every day, but I feel privileged in that we're a great example of the collaboration that came from the markets to the function in the first place.
Well, I think integrity is absolutely critical for us, as you said, particularly in our interactions with governments, because there's a lot of pressure out there to do things that are unethical in order to get favors from government or to act in a way that none of us as individuals would want to act. And it's great, I've found in my 7 years with Visa that the company and all the individuals from the top to the bottom absolutely expect people to act with integrity. And I think we're able to do that because we have such a great product and a brand and a service. We don't have to rely on unethical activity. We have the strength of what we have to offer. And that gives us all a great platform to engage with all of our stakeholders, including government. So I feel very fortunate to work for a company that takes ethics seriously and expects employees to act with integrity, and certainly we have nothing to be ashamed of, and we should absolutely hold to those values through and through, especially with governments. So, yeah. Well, to be honest, let's be honest, it's tough right now because our clients, financial institutions, don't have the best reputation with government officials, so it's tough to be seen side by side with them. But the fact is that what's important to people is to have trust in the institutions that manage their money, because that's what makes their dreams possible. And so we at Visa, in making people's dreams possible with our financial institution clients, if we get that message across, if we remind people that we're here for them, to serve them, to help them meet their goals, you can make a very strong case of why we work so closely with financial institutions.
Right, great.
So what I encourage my team to do is always take risks, but be honest about it. We are striving for excellence in everything that we do. As you mentioned, we work very closely with corporate relations and the constructive engagement effort. And it's important, back to the integrity point, that we're honest with each other, not only within the individual teams, but across the different teams.
We work with the risk team, we work with emerging products, we work with external parties, we work with our clients. So it's a big mix of interaction across internal as well as external functions. It's all about teamwork and working together, shared goals, shared objectives, and having fun.
People are dynamic, absolutely dynamic, and they're so excited about Visa. They're passionate. I know some people think it's silly to be passionate about the payments industry, but it's the future that the payments industry holds, and people that come here, that join and have got that Visa star above the head, I can always see it when I'm recruiting, they are so passionate and they absolutely love it. They're dynamic and they really, really enjoy being part of this team. Collaboration is absolutely key. And I think the best way that happens is with respect, with mutual respect. And breaking down those silos, which I've been here for 13 years and I can see those silos are definitely not there anymore, not in my world anyway, and that comes from leadership, really strong leadership, and which Elizabeth provides and her direct reports provide, and just breaking down those walls. We have to work closely together, but the mutual respect that everyone's adding value is essential to that collaboration. Yeah.
I think the first thing I'd say, I've actually been at Visa, this is my second stint at Visa, in total 18 years. And across those 18 years, I've seen an enormous amount of change. People today are allowed to suggest the process is wrong, the product's not working correctly. They don't fear, and we shouldn't let people fear, the desire to suggest, to improve, to get things right. So I think the culture has shifted and it's continuing to shift. I think we're getting more people, different backgrounds, certainly more diverse, different sort of companies they've come from. They've worked in telecom companies, they've worked in it used to be about people who came from Citibank or from Visa or MasterCard. So I think the big thing for me is it's just such a different talent pool of knowledge and interest inside the company. I think we have actually appointed people to wear a client hat all the time. So in each meeting, what's the client thinking? What's the consumer thinking? So we have we're trying to play different roles to make sure all the stakeholders are remembered through the process. The other thing, though, is V.me is around protecting the role of our key partners, so our issuers, our acquirers. So we're driven around the need to service them. So we get very passionate in front of them, keeping them appraised of how we're going, how we're improving, how we're building. So I think it comes quite naturally because we feel like we're an important service. They might not know it yet, but we're educating them, and we tend to want them to get religion on V.me, as we call it. Inside Australia, one of the things we did for a while was run some huddle meetings. So they were informal. We created an informal space, come together once a week and just tell us what's been happening in your different areas. So different style of communication, not a formal meeting, here's the agenda, start and finish. Just dedicate an hour to hearing what all the cross-functional areas. So we had people from marketing, people from client services. You know, this is a year before those things come into action, and it's been fruitful. We'll keep doing that.
So maintaining a client-focused perspective is really important to mitigating threats posed by increasing national payment systems we're seeing particularly across Southeast Asia and other parts of APEC. But the challenge is, whenever you're not in a client-facing role, how are you able to really understand what it is they're feeling about certain legislation? So recent initiatives we've undertaken is to just assess those, starting off with a simple client survey, because we found time and time again that although Visa may perceive certain legislation or pending legislation in one way, that might not necessarily be the way that the clients perceive it. So in APEC, we have a center called Center of Excellence, and initially I was thinking, that's quite a humble name, but spending about a year working in a cross-functional group, I'm really seeing that it certainly is living up to its name, in the sense that we come together from different perspectives. We all bring different skill sets, but we all have a common goal, and we work together to achieve that common goal. So we're results-driven. We find ways to work with one another, to step beyond our boundaries, and to just add value where it needs to be added.
Yeah, I think in the past 2 days in the forum, the common theme about, I think, excellency is sometimes not about us talking that we're doing excellent work. It's about the feedback that we hear from clients. So with all the years, I think many people we believe and have heard actually the clients have been feeding back to Visa, saying that we're excellent in a few areas. One, we are industry leader. Second is that sometimes we always look at the future, identifying the future opportunity. But I think the most important thing to the client is that we understand how to make them successful. And most of the time is to deliver the bottom line to the client. And then the last thing, and I think the most important factor, is that Visa always deliver, and we always do good in implementations and making sure that we can work out and deliver what we have committed. Yeah, I think the people here in Visa is always sharing the same goal as a family. I think all these sales forums or timeout sessions that we have attended all these years, we are very clear in the focus, and I think the people have always felt that we're proud to be part of the Visa family, and then we know that we have to deliver the company's mission. We're always striving to replace cash, and the excellent things that people are really working hard and thinking about what solution we can bring to markets, because it is a very diverse APEC region.
Taiwan is a very competitive market. So we have everything, every products you mentioned, and all the innovations that is not only requests, and because our issuers and acquirers and even the customers, they are very used to the new things on payment cards.
Right. Hi, my name is Alex Han, BDM responsible for 3 clients in Korea. And my takeaway from this event, Timeout 2012, is that we need to stay focused and to deliver the value adds to clients. And in order to do that, we need to really understand the client's business objectives and what's the key priorities. And by understanding their key priorities and key objectives, I've been with Visa, this is my 7th year, and it will be 8th in 3 months. And the collaboration wasn't really there. But after IPO, I find it more efficient and effective to collaborate.
I'm really lucky on that score. Whether you work in risk management, which is predominantly about lowering fraud, issuer losses, or in my previous role, interchange, which is about about their revenue. It requires a client focus because you're constantly dealing with millions and billions of their money. And given our leadership in the industry, and obviously we are also revenue focused, but if we're going to be the industry leader, we've got to grow the industry. And knowing your client's business in the way that you need to by managing a lever that is their money, it embeds that in my job. And in that sense, me and the teams I work with, I feel like we're really lucky. Well, I'm moving into my 14th year at Visa, and it sounds cliche. I work with some of my best friends. I've been very lucky to work with some great people, to hire some great people who are now my peers and who someday I may work for, and I'm fine with that because we enjoy what we do, we work hard. It's all about getting things done, and when you're focused on that, it's easier to have a good time because we as Visa, we do get things done. And again, whether it was part of Interchange or now as part of a new team at Risk, what I'm finding is these people are the best in the industry. I don't just feel that way when I'm inside Visa. I hear that from the clients when I'm out talking to them. And an event like this at Timeout Singapore, where you come together and you not only strengthen some of those bonds, but you celebrate some of the successes, is a great way to keep the momentum going forward. What I like about Visa is because we touch so many levers, the interchange, the chargeback rules, all the things embedded in operating regulations in some way. Even though we don't touch the end user, we don't issue the cards to cardholders, we don't touch the merchant, we have a lot of influence over the parties that do serve those players. And so we can really do a lot in building platforms and in streamlining those platforms to create innovation on either side, merchant side or consumer side. Some of the simpler changes, the things I love, and we can do more of this, is removing things. People talk about small ticket and the success we've had initially in North America and now I think globally with growing our position versus cash, mainly with small tickets. But the things we were doing right, we were getting rid of requirements. No receipt required. Don't need to get it. Chargeback protection for the merchant because there was no receipt. Getting rid of rules and streamlining things and removing friction so that we just became really more about the payment and what would work at that point of sale. So I've been lucky to be on a couple SWAT teams in my time at Visa. People called together, thrown into the room, something's on fire, the cars come off the road, it's overturned, it's in the ditch, the bodies are strewn everywhere, and someone's got to clean it up. And those are actually great projects, despite all the pain, to be involved in because they attract good people who like coming in and fixing things. And I think one of the challenges at Visa is because we have this wonderful secular trend and we are a leader with good margins, it is very easy for us to let the task expand to fit the time available. And in contrast, those kind of projects, whether it was Project Hawaii, when Amex bought a debit portfolio and just instantly turned Visa cardholders into Amex cardholders, or most recently, and on a scale I've never experienced with Durbin, and the Durbin Project Management Office, led by Bill Sheedy and Oliver Jenkin, but staffed with people from a variety of functions. And the best part about it was getting the boat in row and not a lot of concern over what was interchange and what was pricing and what was sales and the kind of collaboration we had and then the kind of success that generated. Even though at the end of the day our business, we took it what ended up being a glancing blow rather than a death blow. But given how it could have gone, that's a great outcome.
Well, in the last 6.5 years, I've worked with a lot of different groups across Visa, from strategy to corporate relations, public relations, products, marketing, and across all these groups, what I've noticed is that Visa's made a tremendous investment in having the best people possible. They acknowledge that it's people that make the network and that make the brand what it is. And in all these groups, what I think I've found and have appreciated is the fact that across all these functions, Visa is seeking out truth seekers, people that are truly trying to be as knowledgeable as possible about what they're working on to deliver the best thing they can for Visa and our clients, and to really bring an honest, intellectually honest position to everything they work on. Well, I think the thing we communicate to anybody that's new to Visa, working in functions that may be further away from the client than they think, is that it's a small company. There's only so many people at Visa, and what we present forward to our clients is our people. And everything we work on is client-facing, no matter where you sit in the organization, no matter what you do in the company, and it's why we invest so much in our people. Being trusted by our clients is why a network business isn't a commodity. It's really why we differentiate ourselves from any other domestic network or global ubiquitous brand. Is people trust us because we have the best people, and what we put in front of them is product from every employee in the company to every representative of the company that clients are who we're here to serve, and everything we do is going to be seen by a client in one way or another. And what we've learned the most has been through regulation, through entering new markets where clients, governments see us in different ways, is that we have to be nimble and flexible, but at the same time we have to stick true to the principles of what the network's all about, and acknowledge the fact that what we've built here is going to stand the test of time. It has for now 50 years. Whether we're entering Myanmar or Rwanda or just reframing what we are going to be in the United States in the debit space after regulation, we have to be flexible, and we have to be nimble, and we have to change how we're going to operate in that market.
Well, the very definition of interchange is to make sure that we've optimized the network for growth. And so we have to make sure that we have balanced the incentives on one side with the other side. So to make sure that every transaction, every product and service Visa offers is a valuable proposition to all members of the network, because otherwise the network won't grow. So everything we do, we're not focused on, say, just issuers or just acquirers or merchants. We have to look at everything holistically. So not a day goes by, not a moment goes by where if we pull one of the levers, we don't think about the effects on the other aspects of the value chain. What Visa does is something that has truly global scale, operating in over 200 countries. And so if you compare that to the number of employees that Visa actually has, it's a tremendous amount of trust that needs to be placed in every single person. And I see that all the time with my manager and up above him, because if I make a mistake, it could be a 10,000, 100,000, no, it could actually be $1 million or more impact. And if we are going and affecting transactional records of clients, a lot of faith is placed in me to make sure I do it properly, because no one might notice at the moment, but after the fact, people will realize, and that will, come back to reflect upon Visa, damage the brand. So even though what I do is not client-facing, it's still crucial to maintaining integrity to protect the value of our brand. The people here at Visa are unique to me because they all come from such wonderful backgrounds that each bring a valuable insight to the organization. So you have some people from financial backgrounds, other people from consumer marketing backgrounds, other people from product development backgrounds, and this is further layered with the fact that there are people from all sorts of geographic backgrounds. Because Visa has offices throughout the world, naturally we have employees from throughout the world. And as a global company that moves people around from office to office as there's need, you start to really get a mixing of those ideas and people, and really the results are truly synergistic. And Visa is something where the people make it greater than the sum of its individual parts.